We had a bunch of forks in the road. I think one of the biggest ones was that PHP web app. It was modular. We had designed it really well. So it had modules, libraries, it was like pretty sophisticated, but it's still like a big giant code base. It's a giant 3 million line code base in the 20 teens. And there was this, we all knew we needed to move the services, and it was just kind of a question of how and when. That's a discussion that can just go on endlessly, and people prototyping and trying. And eventually we just said, we're going to time box the prototype effort. We're going to get one team going. And then the next year, we're going to get all teams to build one. And then the next year, we're going to move everything. And it was this really aggressive push. And it was hard to make that because the amount of work that it took, and the engineering distraction, and oh, but what about, all these different business things we need to do? But in hindsight, it turned out to be the best decision, because we actually made this really aggressive push, and then we were kind of out. We had a monolith that had shrunk to, whatever, how many lines, but it was barely used. It's like a fraction of the traffic. It's kind of niche features we don't care about. And that was really a hard and scary thing to do, because you have to rally the entire org. You're picking a new stack. You got to get people excited about it. You got to train everybody on it. Everyone was like very into functional programming at the time, and I think still are. I mean, I still love it. But we jumped over to Scala, back then, and that's a big jump from PHP. We did not have a lot of people who could write Scala code or read it or had any background at all. So that was a really aggressive choice, but it actually turned out to be great, because people were really excited about it. That was the main thing, like getting people excited to make the change and kind of putting in the extra effort to learn it on their own time because they liked it. That was a big deal.
How'd you get them excited?
We did a lot on training. So we did a whole bunch of making courses available, bringing instructors in. We had competitions, and we stood up like a center of excellence. And then at the time, there was just so much being externally written about functional programming. I think people were really just itching. Some people had some background, others had more of a kind of a typical object-oriented Java type background, and they were itching to try it. And so we kind of used the external environment to get people hyped too, and spent a lot of money to send people to conferences and, make friends. And we just kind of did everything that we could to evangelize, and that went a long way.